Now let's see how you can create a PQX quality report using PQX Report Writer. To create a PQX print quality report with PQX Report Writer, launch Microsoft Word as you normally would. When Word comes up, you'll notice it looks just the same as it always does, except on the top ribbon we have a new item called PQX Report Writer. So let's click on that. You'll see that there are functions that are very specific to creating an ISO standard PQX report. We can create the report, we can add an ink collection, reporter collection, sample data, reference data, or defect image data. There are also a number of functions that I'll demonstrate as we create our report. So let's begin with create new report. First must give the report a name, and we're going to call it PQX report create. And we're going to place that simply in documents and we'll save. Now we're ready to begin our PQX report. On the form, you'll see that some fields have red asterisks. Those are the fields that are required by the PQX standard. The fields that are optional do not have a red asterisk. Those fields you may wish to enter data in because you may know that your buyer would like this information, or it may be traditional information that you always include in your print quality reports today. So let's get started. The first field in a PQX print quality report is the date that the report is being created. I'll just go ahead and click on that and you'll see a calendar comes up. So I will pick today's date on the calendar and we have that field complete. PQX print quality ID could be generated automatically by the system, but we've chosen to let each individual user create their own IDs that might match better with their quality tracking systems they currently use. So let's click here and I'm going to give the report ID PQX and I'm going to go with 08 07 2021 as my PQX ID. The next field we see is PQX software and version. Because this field doesn't have a red asterisk, we know that it's not required by the standard. But I want to go ahead and record the software that I'm using. So I'm using PQX Report Writer version 1.0. And I'm ready to go on. Now, one thing I'd like to point out here is that there is a tool called Structure that can assist you with entering data in your PQX print quality report. The structure shows you all of the fields from the PQX schema that are available to you with the interface that we have. So you can move easily around the PQX report structure. In this demo, I'll be entering data from the top of the report down, but know that you can use the structure chart to enter data in any order that you should choose. Let's go on and do some more data entry. Here's our printer information. I'm going to use IC Tech as the parent company. That's not required, but I do want to give that information. The printer in this fictional example is PQX Printing, and its location is Elmhurst, Illinois. I can also, because this is a location designator, I could have given the zip code or the geolocation coordinates. I can also give a contact here, so I'm going to give my name, and I'm going to give my phone number. So we have contact information there. Again, contact is a designator field, meaning it's free text, so you can enter the information in the way you usually enter the information in your standard print quality reports. Now we come to press run information. Again, notice that there's a gray field here that will tell us how we're going to enter data into the field. It says click here to enter date. So when I do that, what I get again is a calendar view so that I can easily pick the date of the press run. I'm going to select the 5th of August. Now we need to enter a unique identifier that every printer keeps, and that's their unique lot ID number. So I'm going to give it a lot, and the lot is going to be 08 05 2021, and I'm giving it an A because it was the first press run on that particular day. Now we have our press run information. Every time you see a field that says choose an item, it means there's an optional number of items that you could enter here. And if you click on choose an item and look down, the field that we could enter is the press run length. I don't choose to enter that, so I'm just going to go on to the next field. Printing method. When it says choose an item, what that means is that the ISO standard has given a set number of enumerations that can be choices to fill in this data field. So if I say click on choose an item, these are all the printing types that are allowed by the PQX standard today. And I'm going to go ahead and click on flexography as the choice of the print method for this particular press run. All the other items here are descriptive and optional. I don't have to particularly fill those in, but if I want to give my buyer more information, or if I want to keep that information on my system so that I can track quality and these factors, I can go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead. We're going to enter the press line, which in this case was number 4, and we're going to name our press operator Chad Chase. I'm not going to give any more of the optional information here at this point. The next thing we need to enter is the customer item collection. In PQX, when you do a press run, you may print one or more items for a customer. If you're printing labels, for example, you may print multiple labels that have been laid out or ganged so that you can print multiple labels in a single press run. Or you may have a press run where you're printing a single item. In this case, the identifying factor, which we will use throughout the report, is the customer item ID. Now, the system could automatically be configured to generate customer item IDs for you. The standard, however, as it was developed, suggested that the printer might want to assign their own ID based on a number of factors. The factors that you might base your ID on, the ID display type is, depending on if you're printing something that will go at a point of sale, you might have an SKU number. You might also have a UPC product number. You might have an art code, a design for a package, for example, that you used, and there'd be a code that's known to you, or it may be some other kind of identifier. In this case, we're going to enter a UPC code, and let's see what that UPC code is. Now, it might be tempting to just type the numbers of the UPC code in. But a very particular thing about PQX is that IDs must always begin with a letter. So in this case, I'm going to just say that my customer item ID, I'm going to just say UPC to begin that UPC number. And then I'm going to type the actual UPC number that's going to be on the package that I'm printing. So it's 034 0866 70345. And that's the UPC number for a pillow, actually. Now we enter information about our particular customer in the next set of fields. Again, this is important. So the parent company, I'm not going to enter. The company name is American Dreams Incorporated. Location of that parent company is Paducah, Kentucky. And my contact there is a man named Sam Arnold. The fields that are required are the company name and location. I'm going to also indicate a brand and a product here. The brand is Dream Pillows, and the product in particular is a Dream Down pillow. I'm not going to go ahead and give any more description. The product, if you're printing more than one customer item in the press run for quality evaluation, you can click on a green tab that says add a new customer item block, and you could go ahead and do that. When you've completed the front matter for your PQX print quality report, you're ready to select the reports that you will be entering here. Notice that you get to select one from each of these: color report, defect report, registration report, or barcode report. You must select one, at least one must be selected, but you can select up to all 4 of the reports. To enter a new report, just click on the report that you wish to enter and push the Insert button. The fields for that report will automatically be entered for you, and now all you have to do is complete the fields with the red asterisk, the required fields by the standard for each of the reports. Now let's look at a report where each of the quality parameters has been entered: a color report, a defect report, a registration report, and a barcode report. Remember that you can navigate through the reports by using the side navigation structure chart. Now, after we've entered all of the data in our print quality report, the last thing that we want to do is to actually generate the report. I go to my PQX Report Writer tab, and I'm going to find buttons that say Insert a Logo, Generate PDF, and Generate PQX XML. Those are all under the Publishing function. Out of the box, PQX Report Writer has been configured to allow you to enter your own logo. So let's do that first. The logo will appear on the PDF. However, it's not going to appear automatically in the XML file. It doesn't really belong there. But I'm searching around. I'm finding my logo for PQX printing. I'm going to open that logo and insert the logo. At this point, when we generate our PDF, we'll see the logo printed in the default styles that come out of the box with PQX Report Writer. One thing I might say is currently PQX Report Writer is configured so that you will use your print quality tools just as you do today. You'll note the values that those tools give you, and you'll enter them into the PQX print quality report. So for example, if you're doing a defect report, you'll see that you enter all the information in the defect fields. In the future, if your print quality reporting tools will output PQX values, PQX Report Writer will be able to be configured so that you can simply point to those files and they'll be inserted in the PQX report that you're creating. You'll need to contact IC Tech to determine what tools you're using and how you can simplify the process of moving the data from those reporting tools into your ISO standard PQX print quality report. Okay, at this point, it's a good thing to do is to check your XML. If you go to publish and you have an error in XML, it will tell you that and you'll have to go ahead and do a check. Let's try to generate PQX XML and it says run check. There's obviously an error in something that I did. I perhaps forgot a field that is required. So I'll say okay. I'll go to my PQX Report Writer button and I'll click check. At this point, you're going to see that you get some rather cryptic PQX XML errors, and I just click on Next. And it takes me in my file to something where there's a red asterisk, but that I've not actually entered data. This is a reporter field for a quality service provider named Precision Instrumentation. And it needs to know the location of that service provider. So I'm just going to type in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm going to save. Now, at this point, I can try to run my check again. It's doing the check. And notice that at this point, I don't get any errors. So the validation has passed. And that means that I'm actually ready to publish my report. So we'll go to publish. We've already inserted the logo. And now I'm going to generate my PDF. Remember that the PDF comes out of the box configured with some default styles, and the styles we're using are the styles that are used in the Idealine's PQX Expert program. You'll see that my logo has been inserted, and the print quality report looks very much like a form with all the data that I've entered. Because this is from Idealine's training, it's got a watermark for training. If you're buying the product for commercial purposes, ICTech can work with you to adjust the styles and remove the watermark as appropriate. So now that I've generated my PDF, I'm going to close that file. I'm going to close the PDF. And the next thing I'm going to do is to generate the PQX XML. So it's generating the PQX XML, and I'm viewing it in Notepad. Notice that PQX XML is standard according to the ISO standard, and you'll be able to deliver this PQX file to your print buyer. We hope that you've enjoyed this brief view of PQX Report Writer. Contact ICTech if you're interested in learning more about our product.